His fans loved him for 40 years. They are now running away. Richard Dreyfuss was hit in the head by an ashtray thrown by Bill Murray. On set, he made Lucy Liu cry. He put a young woman under his body and kissed her without her permission. It wasn't just a bad day. No one was brave enough to talk about decades of abuse. Fox pulled a $20 million Zero Cents movie because of him. He hadn't talked to his best friend in 20 years. Finally, the truth is out, and it's much worse than anyone thought. He was born in Evanston, Illinois on September 21, 1950. His mom worked in a mailroom, and his dad sold lumber. Bill grew up in Wilmette, which is a suburb of Chicago. He has 8 brothers. Noise, crowds, and a bit of chaos could always be heard in the house. It was the kind of place where you had to speak up to be heard, which may have been the start of his sense of humor. He came from an Irish Catholic family with roots in County Cork and County Galway. Bill loved his family and faith, but when he was only 17, tragedy struck hard. His dad passed away because of problems caused by diabetes. Bill lost the man he looked up to the most, and his family lost a dad. As a teen, Bill found comfort in reading about Davy Crockett and other American heroes. To help pay for school, he also worked as a golf helper. The long hours he spent on the golf course made him start to notice people in a way that would later come up in his comedy. He went to college in Denver to study before becoming a doctor after high school. But I didn't feel right. He wasn't interested in medicine, so he quit school quickly and went back home. He got an honors degree from the same school years later, more for his contributions to culture than for his work in the classroom. Something happened around this time that could have made everything bad. Bill was caught trying to sneak almost 10 pounds of weed into Chicago's O'Hare Airport on his 20th birthday. The surge happened because he joked with another writer that he had a bomb in his bag. He didn't go to jail because he was given probation, but the event made him think about his life. That was a turning point, and soon after, humor came along. Brian Doyle Murray, Bill's older brother, was already a comedian in Chicago. He asked Bill to join the famous theater group The Second City. Bill said yes, because he does things that start big lives. Everything would be different after that choice. Bill learned from Del Close at Second City. Close is a famous teacher who has helped make comic legends. Close told the players to be honest, weird, and brave. Bill learned how to use his trademark deadpan style with his help. He learned how to make everything funny, even when it was quiet. That style would be the main thing he did from then on. Someone yelled at him too much during one show. Bill is said to have broken the man's arm, then bought him a beer and took him to the hospital. He brought that kind of crazy energy to the stage. Bill moved to New York City in 1974. Thanks to John Belushi, he joined a radio comedy show called the National Lampoon Radio Hour. Stars to be like Dan Aykroyd, Gilda Radner, Chevy Chase, and Harold Ramis were all in the group. Back then, they didn't know each other and were just trying to make each other laugh. But Bill went in a strange direction before getting to NBC's Saturday Night Live. He was cast in a different show in 1975. Tonight, on Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell on ABC. It was a variety show in prime time, and the host was a sportscaster who wasn't funny. While the show didn't do well at first, Bill, his brother Brian, and Christopher Guest all learned how to work on TV. The first time NBC showed Saturday Night Live, they made fun of ABC's show by calling their group not ready for prime-time players. The joke was funny. The first sketches he made didn't work. Things were also tense behind the scenes. In 1978, Chevy came back as host, and he and Bill got into a fight backstage right before the show started. Bill is said to have called him a medium ability. They had to do a show together right away. They would be angry at each other for years. Bill kept going, though, and made some of the show's most famous characters. One of his biggest hits was Nick the Lounge Singer, a cheesy nightclub act in which he sung famous songs with huge egos. With made-up words, his version of the Star Wars theme song became famous. That character summed up everything that was unique about Bill. It's dry, silly, and strangely earnest. He became friends with Gilda Radner while he was on Saturday Night Live. Their real-life relationship went through the same ups and downs as the nerdy teens they played in a regular sketch. They fought a lot, and sometimes the actors saw it. They really cared for each other underneath it all. Bill once said that Gilda was the only person who could make him laugh. When she laughed really hard, she'd run out of the room and sometimes pee herself. Even though they broke up, Bill was very sad when she died years later. He always remembered her. Bill got an Emmy for his writing while he was on the show. That made him look good in movies like Ghostbusters, Meatballs, Caddyshack, and Stripes. In a world of bigger, louder comedy, his dry, offbeat humor stuck out. He learned how to make people laugh without trying too hard while he was on Saturday Night Live. After many years, he won another Emmy, this time for drama, and came back to SNL for the show's 50th anniversary. As Nick the Lounge Singer, he sang again, this time with a group of cast members of different ages. Afterward, he said that the tribute films had made him cry 3 times. He remembered where it all began that night. In 1979, a small movie called Meatballs was the start of Bill Murray's big break in movies. No one thought it would do very well because it was a cheap comedy made in Canada. Things got weird when it came out in theaters, though. Was a huge success. It only played in a few Toronto theaters at first, but it made a lot of money right away. It quickly spread across North America, taking in a lot of people, and Murray got his first big movie part in it. At the time, it was Canada's biggest hit. Many people liked the way he was funny and laid back, and that style quickly became his signature. Ivan Reitman directed Meatballs, and this movie also helped him. At about this time, Murray also worked with Harold Ramis, who was a writer and actress. Along with Ghostbusters, they made some of the most popular comedies of the early 980 yes, like Caddyshack and Stripes. They were the best team ever. Ramis was very good at coming up with funny lines, and Murray was naturally good at presenting them. The movie that made them famous was Ghostbusters, which came out in 1984 and was a crazy comedy about scientists who hunt ghosts. Still, Murray didn't always have an easy time of it. He planned to do something different that same year. He really wanted to make The Razor's Edge into a movie after reading the Sirius book. No one at the studio knew for sure, but Murray made a deal. He would only be in Ghostbusters if they paid for The Razor's Edge. That's what they did. But people didn't connect with it when it came out. The movie didn't do well at the box office, and reviews were mixed. Some people said he didn't belong in a dramatic part. Some people saw more in his act than meets the eye. It still hurt him a lot that he failed. In philosophy, took trips in Europe, and spent time with his family. For someone who had just become a huge star, it was an odd move. But Murray needed a break. He didn't do any big movies for a long time. He finally came back with Scrooge and Ghostbusters 2, but people didn't like them as much as he had hoped. There wasn't as much money made as planned, even though people liked the show. As the 1990s started, he was in a lot of movies that didn't do very well. Funny movies like The Man Who Knew Too Little and Larger Than Life. Studios started to wonder if he could still carry a movie. Murray became farther away from Hollywood during all of this. He didn't like how things were done behind the scenes. He wasn't interested in scripts. He didn't want to keep playing the same parts. At some point, he did something strange. He quit using managers and agents altogether. It made it hard for everyone to get in touch with him, even big companies. He said he had become picky and almost lazy, waiting for the right parts to come to him. He did something different in 1990. He helped direct The Smart. He doesn't have a boss or an agent. He doesn't run his business like the stars do. Those who want to work with him have to find a unique phone number, leave a message, and hope that he gets it. He might call again in a week, he might not. Some people say they missed the chance to cast him because they couldn't get in touch with him in time. But that's what Murray thinks. He doesn't want to be caught, like to be interested. He joked that you'll be able to get in touch with him if your writing is good enough. To stay in charge, he keeps the world at arm's length and only steps forward when something really moves him. Being hard isn't the point. It's about keeping what's important safe, the job, what it means, and being able to say no. Bill Murray used to be known as the funny guy who always had a joke, but now he's more than that. He's become a picture of what it means to grow, take risks, and really care about the stories you tell. Bill Murray is more than just a great actor. It's more like a living myth, this guy. He's become famous over the years, and not just for his works, but for the way he sneaks into people's lives, does something weird or funny, and then vanishes like nothing happened. One of the most talked about stories takes place in Times Square around the year 2010. A man was eating fries at McDonald's when Murray walked up out of nowhere, took 2 fries without being asked, and told him quietly, "No one will ever believe you." After that, he disappeared into the crowd. In these times, that one line became his signature. He had said it before after sneaking up on someone and disappearing without a trace. It was like the only one who knows a joke that everyone else does. The famous actor Bill Murray has been around for a long time, but many people behind the scenes have a different story to tell. Some people say he was smart and funny. Some people say it was hard to work with him. Richard Dreyfuss told one of the most terrible stories. In 1991, they were making the movie What About Bob? One night, Dreyfuss gave Murray a new version of the story. It was said that Murray had been drinking. He yelled, "Everyone hates you," right in Dreyfuss's face instead of reading it. "You are allowed to stay." Dreyfuss said things got worse. He grabbed a big glass ashtray and threw it at him. It missed, thank goodness. After many years, Murray said he didn't throw it at Dreyfuss. He said he hit the ceiling with it. Lisa Ziskin, who produced the movie, agreed with Dreyfuss's story. She said that Murray broke her shades, said he would throw her across a parking lot, and actually did. He threw her into a lake. Lucy Liu had her own story. Takes place in 2000 and is from Charlie's Angels, as Murray used words that were wrong and couldn't be excused. Here, Murray wrote new lines and gave them to the crew without telling anyone. This is what happened. Liu told him it wasn't his job. People on the set say that's when Murray said something insulting, like, "I gave you more lines. Pay attention to who you're with. You're TV. This is the main league." Liu didn't keep quiet. She yelled at him and wouldn't back down. Murray didn't come back for the next one after that. Drew Barrymore told Liu years later that she was brave for not letting anyone treat her badly. She also had a scary experience in 1990 while shooting Quick Change. She said Murray yelled at her because she was late in front of a lot of people. She also talked about a time when she was auditioning. It bothers her still. Murray pulled out a massage tool he called the Thumper and decided to give her a rub with it. She said no many times, but he wouldn't give up. There was no one else in the room who could stop him. The next day, Davis said Murray touched her arm live on TV and even tried to pull down her dress strap. She tried to laugh it off at the time. She said it was awful. Now that she thinks about it, I had lunch more than once. He didn't think it was important. He says it still makes no sense to him, but he does say he thinks about it a lot. On the other hand, he says he was treated badly. He said the press threw rocks at him. Later that year, Murray finally got married to the woman. It was said to be more than $100,000, 0 cents. It was already too late. The movie was scrapped. Everyone on the group missed their chance to finish it.